Hey guys, Coach Josh Gerry here, and today we're going to talk about one of the most basic things that you will learn in pro wrestling training, the flat back bump. Yes, the first thing that you should learn in pro wrestling training, the basic flat back bump. Now, a lot of people say that professional wrestlers are able to do what they are able to do because they learn how to fall. That's putting it a little simply, but yes, that is correct. One of the first things that you should learn when you start pro wrestling training is how to take a bump, a flat back bump, because that is how you land. Flat on your back, and it is a bump. A lot of times people will call it a bump anytime you take any type of landing, but a flat back bump is the most basic bump that you will take in professional wrestling. And the key to it is that you really want to try and spread out the impact over as much of an area as possible. A lot of people, doctors, have said that a pro wrestling bump is like getting into a car wreck at 35 miles an hour. Yeah. And you do anywhere from 10 to 20 bumps per wrestling match. And if you are actively wrestling seriously on television or for a major promotion, you're wrestling anywhere between 3 to 5 times a week. If you're on the independents, you're probably only wrestling anywhere between 1 to 3. But still, we need to talk about the bump card. And what that is that is a little imaginary, little buy one, get one free little card, like when you go get your yogurt. But every time you take a bump, you get a hole punched into your card. Now, when you are born, this bump card has a finite number of bumps that your body can take before it just says, you know what? Nope, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And nobody knows what that number is. So you want to maximize your bumps. Now, I'm fond of saying selling is better than rolling and rolling is better than bumping. So you want to try and get the most out of your bumps. You don't want to take crazy, insane risks in front of 30 people, but you have to find that line where you get noticed, but also kind of conserve yourself. Now, me personally, I'm working on year 23 in professional wrestling, and my bump card got filled up a long time ago. I've probably got maybe 5 or 10 bumps total left, and I really don't want to push it any further. Of course, I'm broken down a lot more than people half my age, but that's another story. Now, when you take a basic flat back bump, you're getting into that car wreck, 35 miles an hour every time. So you want to try and spread out that impact as much as possible. Now, obviously, I cannot teach you how to take a bump just going through this video, but I want to give you some of the who, what, where, whens, and the whys of the bump so that you can be a little bit smarter about it. You want to try and spread that impact out over as large of an area as possible. So you want all of your body to hit at the same time. Your butt, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your shoulders, your triceps, your elbows, your forearms, your palm, your fingertips. Every little bit helps. The premise is like the Hindus over in India that lay on the bed of nails, right? It's all about physics. If they were to lay on one single nail, it'd go right into their body. But it's a bunch of nails, and surface area is spread out over as much of it as possible, and that's why they're able to lay on it semi-comfortably. And that's kind of the same thought behind a flat back bump. The wider area that you can spread that impact on, the better the bump feels. Now, if you land on your hip, you land on your shoulder, you land on your ribs, you definitely feel it because all that impact is hitting that one central space. Of course, obviously, tuck your chin. If you have never done professional wrestling training, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, these little muscles that go right here that you use when you tuck your chin, those suckers are going to be sore for about your first couple of weeks when you start learning how to bump, just simply because you're going to get used to tucking your chin, and we don't really do that with a lot of gusto outside of professional wrestling. So neck strengthening exercises are paramount. I do not suggest doing bridges because that can do damage before the muscles in the neck are actually strengthened. So you're going to tuck your chin and you're going to try and spread that out over as much area as possible. Now, of course, if you're doing flip bumps and front bumps and face bumps and all that stuff, the concept is kind of the same. You want to spread it out over as much area as possible to take that impact, so to speak. So flat back bump, one of the first basic things that you should be learning, you need to have this down. And I mean muscle memory, like not even think about it. I joke with my students that I really haven't taken a bump in about 3 or 4 years, and I could probably still go to the grocery store and step into the wet floor in the produce section, slip, and probably still take the prettiest bump you've ever seen. I'm going to feel it the next day, but it's become muscle memory. I do it without even thinking about it. And you need to have that before you really get into doing suplexes and slams and things of that nature, because if you don't land right, every single one of those bumps, yeah, it may be one bump, but it's probably going to take a couple more of those punches off your bump card, because it's going to be more damage to whatever area that you don't land flatly on, whether it be your tailbone or, like I said, your shoulder or your ribs. So flat back bumps, ladies and gentlemen, please get those down to a science. Make them to where you can't get them wrong. Don't practice it until you get it right. Practice it until you can't get it wrong. One of the best in professional wrestling, Christopher Daniels, GOAT, he has been able to do it for such a long time and at a high level, because you go back and you watch Christopher Daniels matches, almost every time he lands, flat back bump, because he's got that body control. He has figured out how to move his body and land flat every single time. I know it's kind of short and sweet, but that's really the best that I can do with it without actually physically being able to take you and say, okay, you want to try and do this and throw your arms back and all that stuff. But that is what you go to professional wrestling training for. Find a school close to you, preferably a reputable one, somebody that has a coach or trainer that's been there, done that, has quite a bit of reputation to them. A lot of people in the industry say, yes, go see this person. That's the best thing. There's a lot of places that can teach you how to bump, but not efficiently, so to speak. So definitely do that. Do that homework. If you got a place that you're thinking about, go ahead and send me a message. You can go ahead and hit the social medias down in the description of this video. And, you know, like I always say, you can click over there to subscribe to my channel, and you can click over there to watch any of the videos that maybe you've already missed. And I know I've been away for a bit, but I'm hoping to continue this back. I've had a lot of people reach out on social media and talk about how much they enjoy these. So until next time, guys, keep driving and striving.